All right, everyone get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Sigachi Industries.
Sounds intriguing.
We got a whole bunch of documents to dig through.
Let's see, we've got their recent board meeting notes.
Uh-huh. And Q3 financials for fiscal year 2025.
Oh, and an investor presentation, too.
Don't forget the auditor's report, and get this, a list of suggested podcast questions.
No way someone sent you those.
It's crazy, right?
It's like we're getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of a publicly traded company.
Exactly. So much to unpack.
Yeah, where should we even begin?
Well, before we drown in a sea of numbers,
Good idea.
let's get a handle on who Sigachi is.
Right, like what's their deal? What do they actually do?
Fill us in.
Okay, so they're in the pharmaceutical ingredient business.
Pharmaceutical ingredients.
Yeah, but not in the way you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So instead of making the active ingredients that make a drug work,
The stuff that actually makes you better.
right, they focus on the other stuff.
The other stuff.
Yeah, like the fillers and binders.
Fillers and binders.
Yeah, the things that help those tablets hold their shape.
Oh, so they don't just fall apart in the bottle.
Exactly, or dissolve properly when you swallow them.
Never thought about that.
It's all super important, though.
So what do they call those ingredients?
Those are called excipients.
Excipients.
Yeah, basically the unsung heroes of the pharmaceutical world.
The behind-the-scenes crew.
Exactly, making sure those pills do their job.
So they just make these excipients?
They do more than that, actually.
Oh, really?
They also produce some active pharmaceutical ingredients.
So they do some of the actual drug stuff, too?
Yep, those are called APIs for short.
APIs, got it.
And hold on, they're not done.
There's more.
They've got products in the food industry, too.
No way.
And nutraceuticals and even cosmetics.
Wow, they get around?
They're all about diversification.
I was just going to say, that's a lot of different industries.
And their reach is global, too.
Really? How global are we talking?
Over 500 customers in more than 65 countries.
Whoa, that's impressive.
They're definitely aiming for that global impact.
And I bet their mission statement reflects that.
You bet it does.
What is it?
To ensure all our stakeholders experience excellence with everything we do.
Experience excellence.
Yep, you'll see that phrase everywhere in these documents.
Catchy. I like it.
It seems like they're setting a high bar.
Speaking of high standards, what about their core values?
Well, they emphasize respect and integrity,
Okay.
resourcefulness, and, of course, excellence.
So like a well-rounded approach.
It seems that way.
I like what I'm hearing so far.
Me too. But let's get down to business, shall we?
Absolutely. What went down at this recent board meeting?
Anything juicy, you ask?
Always looking for the inside scoop.
Well, they approved the unaudited Q3 financials as usual.
Right, that's standard procedure.
But there was a significant leadership change.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Mr. Amit Raj Sinha, who was already the managing director and CEO,
Yeah.
he's now also the chairman of the board.
Wow, so they combine those roles.
Yep, pretty big deal.
Makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Could signal a shift in strategy or maybe consolidating power.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
And there's one more thing from the board meeting.
Lay it on me.
They approved a postal ballot notice.
A postal ballot?
Uh-huh.
Seriously, in this day and age.
He is a bit old school, right?
Especially for a company dealing with cutting-edge pharmaceuticals.
You'd think they'd be all digital.
Totally. What could it be about?
Maybe a merger or an acquisition.
Ooh, that's a possibility.
Or maybe they're asking shareholders to vote on something big.
Like a new factory.
Perhaps. But we'll have to wait for more details.
Is it a real head-scratcher?
But for now, let's focus on what we do know.
You mean their financials?
Exactly. Time to dive into those numbers.
All right, hit me with the highlights. Are they rolling in rupees, or are there any warning signs?
Well, the good news is things are looking pretty positive.
That's what we like to hear.
Both our standalone and consolidated financials show good news.
Hold on, back up a sec. Standalone versus consolidated.
Ah, good point.
For those of us who don't speak fluent finance.
Right, some clarification is needed.
Can you break it down?
Of course. So standalone financials only look at the parent company.
Sigachi Industries itself.
Yep, just them on their own.
Got it. And consolidated.
Consolidated includes all their subsidiaries.
Ah, so it's the whole picture.
Exactly, a more complete view of the entire business.
Makes sense. So is the whole picture looking rosy?
It is so far.
Give me some specifics.
Okay, so their total income for the 9 months is up.
Up by how much?
A healthy 26.43% compared to last year.
Wow, that's significant.
And their EBITDA margin is up too.
Now you're just using fancy words to confuse me.
Haha, sorry. EBITDA margin basically measures their operating profitability.
So how much profit they're making from their core business?
Exactly.
Okay, and how's that looking?
Up by a significant 199 basis points.
Basis points, now you're really losing me.
Sorry, again, a basis point is just 1/100%.
Okay.
So 199 basis points equals 1.99%.
So basically their profitability is up almost 2%.
Right. And when you're dealing with large numbers, even small changes can be a big deal.
Got it. So they're bringing in more revenue.
Uh-huh.
Their core operations are becoming more profitable.
Yeah.
Anything else jumping out from these financials?
They're really emphasizing their strong performance in microcrystalline cellulose.
Microcrystalline cellulose.
MCC for short.
MCC. Okay, I remember that from earlier.
It seems to be a key driver of their success.
But remind me again, what exactly is MCC?
Okay, so imagine you have all these powdered ingredients.
For like a pill.
Right, and you need to form them into a solid tablet.
So they don't just stay a powdery mess.
Exactly. MCC is the magic ingredient that binds them together.
So it's like a glue.
Kind of, it's purified wood pulp,
Wood pulp, yep.
commonly used as a filler or binder in pharmaceutical tablets.
So basically my pills are held together by trees.
In a way, yes.
That's kind of cool.
It is, and Sigachi is one of the largest manufacturers of MCC.
Right.
Not just in India, but globally.
So they're a big deal in the world of pill binders.
You could say that, and they recently invested heavily in expanding their MCC production.
Smart move if it's such a hot commodity.
And it looks like that bet is paying off.
How so?
Their MCC sales volume in Q3 was up by almost 40%.
Whoa, that's huge.
Compared to the previous quarter.
So those trees are really working overtime.
They are, but it makes you wonder, are they putting all their eggs in one basket?
That's a good point. They can't just rely on MCC forever.
Exactly. Diversification is key.
So do they have any other ventures in play?
Let's take a look at their strategic priorities.
Okay, where are they focusing their energy?
It's clear they're not betting solely on MCC.
That's a relief.
They have a multi-pronged approach to growth.
Multi-pronged. I like it. So what are these prongs?
Well, they're making a big push into API production.
API, you mean the active ingredients in drugs.
Exactly.
So they're moving from the supporting cast to the starring role.
You could say that it's a strategic move to become a more comprehensive player in the industry.
Makes sense.
They're also targeting the EU market for APIs.
The EU, that's a big market.
And a highly regulated one.
So a bold move.
For sure, but they're up for the challenge.
What else is on their agenda?
Their operations and maintenance business has been booming.
Operations and maintenance. What's that all about?
They provide services to other companies, mostly in the chemical and pharmaceutical industries,
Like what kind of services?
helping them run their plants efficiently.
So they're like a pharmaceutical pit crew.
Exactly, keeping those operations running smoothly.
And how's that been going?
Their revenue from O&M has tripled in the past 5 years.
Tripled. That's amazing.
Clearly, they're good at what they do.
So we've got product diversification, geographic expansion, and new service offerings.
They're covering all their bases.
It sounds like they have a pretty solid growth strategy.
They do, and for anyone interested in the pharmaceutical industry.
Or thinking about investing.
Exactly. These moves signal that Sigachi is in it for the long haul.
They're not just chasing quick profits.
They're building a foundation for sustainable growth.
Okay, I'm impressed so far.
Me too. But there's another side to this story.
Oh, what's that?
They're not just about making money.
Really, there's more.
They also care about sustainability and social responsibility.
I like the sound of that.
And luckily for us,
What?
the investor presentation has a whole section on ESG.
ESG, environmental, social, and governance factors.
I got it.
So what kind of initiatives are they highlighting?
Well, it seems they're pretty serious about their efforts.
Okay, spill the beans.
They're focused on reducing carbon emissions
That's good for the plant.
and minimizing waste.
Also good.
They're investing in employee well-being and diversity.
Creating a positive work environment.
Exactly.
Anything else?
They're also engaged in corporate social responsibility initiatives.
Like what?
Programs focused on education, healthcare, skill development.
So they're giving back to the community.
Absolutely. And these initiatives have impacted over 12,600 lives in India.
12,600 lives. That's incredible.
It's great to see a company that cares about more than just the bottom line.
Agreed. It's refreshing.
And it's not just about feeling good.
There's a business case for it too, right?
Exactly. More and more investors are looking at ESG factors when making decisions.
So being a good corporate citizen can actually be good for business.
It definitely can.
Well, Sigachi seems to be ticking all the right boxes so far.
They are, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, you're right. No company is perfect.
We need to look at both sides of the coin.
The good and the bad.
Exactly. And luckily, one of those suggested podcast questions addresses this.
Oh, really? Which one?
It asks us, what do you think is the biggest risk facing Sigachi as they pursue all these ambitious goals?
That's a good question.
That is, makes you think.
So what comes to mind? What are some potential pitfalls?
Well, perhaps the biggest risk is their rapid expansion and diversification.
They're doing a lot at once.
They are, and there's always the risk of spreading themselves too thin.
Or losing focus on what they're good at.
Exactly. They need to make sure they can handle all this growth.
So it's not just about having big dreams.
Right. They need the resources and the talent to execute those dreams.
Otherwise, they could stumble.
Operational challenges, cost, overruns, damage to their reputation.
It's a lot to manage.
It is, and then there's the competition.
Oh, yeah. They're not the only ones in this game.
The pharmaceutical and chemical industries are very competitive.
So they need to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Innovation is key.
And they can't forget about the regulatory landscape.
Right. The pharmaceutical industry is heavily regulated.
So they need to stay on top of compliance.
Absolutely. Any misstep could be costly.
What about the whole global supply chain situation?
Ah, yes. Another potential challenge.
We've all seen how fragile those supply chains can be.
And Sigachi relies on certain key raw materials.
Like wood pulp for their MCC.
Exactly. Any disruption could impact their production.
So they need to have backup plans.
Absolutely. And then there's the overall economic climate.
Oh, yeah. Things are a bit shaky right now.
Inflation, rising interest rates, currency fluctuations.
All those things can impact a business.
Especially when operating globally like Sigachi.
So they need to be prepared for anything.
Exactly. Flexibility and adaptability are key.
Well, it sounds like Sigachi has a lot on their plate.
They do, but they also seem to be aware of the challenges.
And they're taking steps to address them.
They are, which is a good sign.
So we've got a company with a strong track record, a clear vision for the future.
And a commitment to sustainability.
I'm starting to see why their motto is experience excellence.
They're definitely striving for it.
But we barely scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
Like their competitive landscape.
Who are they up against?
What are their strengths and weaknesses?
And how do they plan to stay ahead of the game?
All great questions, which we'll dive into next time.
Stay tuned for part 2.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, welcome back, folks.
Ready for round 2.
You bet I am. Last time we left off.
We were about to enter the arena,
Right, the business coliseum.
where Sigachi faces off against its rivals.
So who are these gladiators they're up against?
Well, in the excipient market, it's a global showdown.
Global, you said it.
We're talking some serious heavy hitters.
Like,
Think Ashland, BASF DuPont.
whoa, those are some big names.
Multinational giants with deep pockets and a global reach.
So Sagachi's playing in the big leagues now.
They are up against some fierce competition.
How do they even stand a chance?
It's a tough battle, no doubt.
But they're holding their own right.
They've carved out a nice niche, especially in the MCC market.
Right, their microcrystalline cellulose business is booming.
Seems to be their secret weapon.
This is their edge. What makes them stand out?
One word, quality.
Quality, you say?
They're known for producing high-quality MCC that consistently meets industry standards.
Makes sense. Quality is crucial in pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely no cutting corners when it comes to people's health.
And Sigachi doesn't mess around.
They've invested heavily in quality control and certifications.
So their customers know they can trust their products.
Trust is everything in this business.
Okay, quality is a big one. What else?
Cost competitiveness.
Ah, the price tag matters.
They manage to produce MCC at a very competitive cost.
How do they do that?
Efficient operations, smart sourcing of raw materials,
So they're keeping those costs down.
and passing those savings along to their customers.
High quality at a good price sounds like a winning combo.
It is, but there's one more ingredient in their success.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Strong customer relationships.
Ah, the human touch.
They've built those relationships over years of trust and reliability.
It's not just about making a sale, it's about building partnerships.
Exactly. They go the extra mile to meet their customers' needs.
So they're not just a faceless corporation.
They're a trusted partner.
Okay, so they've got quality, price, and relationships.
It's a powerful combination.
But the business world is constantly changing, right?
It never stands still.
So what challenges do they face in staying ahead of the game?
Well, one of the biggest is the pressure to innovate.
Innovate or die, as they say.
The pharmaceutical industry is constantly evolving.
New drugs, New delivery methods, new patient needs.
Sigachi can't afford to rest on their laurels.
So they need to keep pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. Invest in R&D, explore new technologies, stay close to their customers.
It's a constant race to stay ahead.
And then there's the challenge of managing global operations.
Oh yeah, they're not just playing in their own backyard anymore.
Multiple countries, different regulations, cultural nuances.
It's a lot to navigate.
It requires a global mindset, strong local teams, cultural sensitivity.
It's not easy being a global player.
And then there's the talent war.
The fight for the best and brightest.
It's fierce in the pharmaceutical industry.
Everyone's vying for those skilled workers.
So Sigachi needs to offer more than just a good salary.
It's about creating a company culture that attracts and retains top talent.
Exactly. Opportunities for growth, a supportive environment, employee well-being.
So they need to be an employer of choice.
It's not just about the paycheck. It's about the whole package.
Well, it sounds like Sigachi has its work cut out for it.
They do, but they seem to be up for the challenge.
They've identified the risks and are taking steps to address them.
They're not just sitting back and hoping for the best.
They're actively preparing for the future.
And that's a good sign.
Okay, but remember that mysterious postal ballot.
Oh yeah, the cliffhanger from the board meeting?
We still don't have any answers.
It's like a little puzzle.
What could it be?
We can speculate.
Let's do it.
Postal ballots are often used for matters requiring shareholder approval.
So something big.
Potentially.
Could it be a merger or an acquisition?
That's a possibility.
They've been acquiring companies for their API business.
Maybe they're aiming even bigger now.
A mega merger.
Or maybe they're looking to expand their reach.
Enter new markets, new product lines.
It's all speculation at this point.
But exciting to think about.
It is, but it also reminds us
Of what?
that things can change quickly in the business world.
New information can emerge at any time,
So it's important to stay informed.
even after our deep dive ends.
Agree.
Okay, but before we get too caught up in the future,
Right, let's not forget about the present.
the current economic climate,
The elephant in the room.
inflation, interest rates, currency fluctuations.
It's a wild ride out there.
How does all this impact Sigachi?
Well, no company operates in a vacuum,
They're part of a larger ecosystem.
and those external factors can have a big impact.
So let's analyze how these economic headwinds might affect them.
Okay, let's put on our economist hats.
Time to decipher those economic tea leaves.
So what are the key indicators?
Inflation is a big one, right?
It's a global concern.
Prices are going up everywhere.
Input costs, supply chain disruptions, consumer demand.
It's a perfect storm.
And it's affecting Sigachi too.
How so?
They're facing rising costs for raw materials.
Like that wood pulp for their MCC.
And energy costs are up too.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
It does, but can they just raise their prices to compensate?
Pass those costs along to their customers.
Not so fast.
Why not?
If they raise prices too much, they risk losing customers to competitors.
The price wars.
It's a delicate balance.
So it need to be strategic.
Improve efficiency, negotiate better contracts, be smart about pricing.
Okay, what about rising interest rates?
Those can also have a big impact.
How so?
Higher interest rates mean more expensive borrowing.
Which can impact investment and growth.
Remember those acquisitions Sigachi's been making?
Yeah.
Those are likely financed with loans.
So if rates keep climbing,
Growth becomes more expensive.
it's a tough environment to be expanding in.
It is, and then there's currency fluctuations.
Yeah, the global roller coaster.
Sigachi operates in multiple currencies.
So those exchange rates can really mess with their financials.
It's a double-edged sword.
How so?
A weaker rupee makes their exports cheaper.
But their imports more expensive.
It's a constant balancing act.
So how do they manage all this currency risk?
Careful planning, hedging strategies, staying informed.
Sounds complicated.
It is, global business is not for the faint of heart.
But Sigachi seems to be handling it.
They've got a good track record.
A clear vision and a willingness to adapt.
Key ingredients for success.
So you're cautiously optimistic.
I am. They've got a lot going for them.
But the economic climate is unpredictable.
It always is.
So we'll have to see how things play out.
Only time will tell.
Okay. But enough about the doom and gloom.
Right. Let's shift gears.
Back to something more positive.
It's that experiencing excellence motto.
We haven't really dug into that yet.
It's more than just a slogan.
There's a deeper meaning there.
It's about their corporate culture, their identity.
So what does it really mean for Sigachi to experience excellence?
That's the million-dollar question.
And we'll explore it in part 3.
Just stay tuned.
And we're back, folks, ready to tackle the big question.
The mystery behind experiencing excellence.
Is it just a fancy slogan, or is there a real substance behind it?
Well, it's not just about marketing. It goes deeper than that.
Right. It's about their core values, their identity.
Exactly. So we need to look beyond the surface.
See how it plays out in different parts of their business?
For their employees, their customers, their suppliers, everyone.
Okay, so let's start with the employees.
We know they've got a good workplace culture,
That great place to work certification.
and they're big on diversity and safety.
But how does experiencing excellence actually impact their employees' day-to-day lives?
Or could mean providing opportunities for growth,
Professional development training programs.
fostering a culture of innovation,
Encouraging them to think outside the box.
and empowering them to do their best work,
So it's about investing in their people,
making them feel valued and supported.
creating an environment where they can thrive,
And that can have a ripple effect?
leading to better products and happier customers.
Exactly, because when employees feel good,
They're more likely to go the extra mile.
deliver exceptional results.
So for Sigachi's customers, what does experiencing excellence mean?
It means getting high-quality products,
Products that meet their needs,
reliable service responsive support,
and feeling like they're part of a partnership.
a collaborative relationship built on trust.
So it's about exceeding expectations.
Not just meeting the bare minimum.
Okay, and how about their suppliers?
Same principle applies.
Treat them with respect,
Fair and ethical treatment, timely payments.
working together to solve problems.
So win-win approach.
They're all in this together.
Now, what about the investors?
The folks putting their money on the line.
Experiencing excellence for them means strong financial performance
Consistent growth, a good return on their investment.
and a commitment to creating long-term value.
So transparency, accountability, good governance.
All essential ingredients for investor confidence.
And we can't forget about the communities.
Right. Sigachi operates in a wider ecosystem.
So how do they contribute?
It's about being a responsible corporate citizen,
Supporting local development,
minimizing their environmental impact.
giving back to the communities that support them.
It's about recognizing that their actions have broader consequences.
Going beyond just profit maximization.
It's a holistic approach to business.
So when you consider all these different angles,
Employees, customers, suppliers, investors, communities.
you start to see that experiencing excellence is more than just a slogan.
It's a philosophy, a way of life.
It's woven into the fabric of their company culture.
Driving their decisions, shaping their interactions,
It's a pretty ambitious goal.
striving for excellence in everything they do.
And it's not always easy.
There will be challenges, setbacks, times when they fall short.
But it's about the journey, the constant pursuit of improvement.
The commitment to doing better each day.
Well, we've certainly learned a lot about Sigachi on this deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From their financials to their strategies,
Their ESG initiatives, their competitive landscape.
even the meaning behind their motto.
We've uncovered those hidden insights.
Tried to decipher those cryptic board meeting notes.
And even though we still don't know what that postal ballot is about,
A little mystery never hurts.
it keeps things interesting.
But I think it's safe to say
We've gained a pretty good understanding of Sigachi Industries
their strengths, their weaknesses, their aspirations.
and their commitment to experiencing excellence,
And that's what this show is all about.
taking you on a journey of discovery,
Uncovering those hidden gems in the business world.
empowering you to make informed decisions.
So whether you're an investor, a consumer, or just someone who's curious,
Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep learning.
because the more you know, the more you realize there's always more to discover.
And that's what makes it all so exciting.
On that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into Sigachi Industries.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Great.